Okay, I'm going to make this video because obviously there are a lot of really stupid, Martin on the scale with Martin kind of people in charge right now, right? Just so dumb. What happened to the smart people? I used to be surrounded by smart people. I would never, of course, choose to be around a disgusting Martin. And I was in tech and I was in theater and I was highly educated. And so I was surrounded by highly educated, intelligent people. Misogyny was definitely there. Hate, which is not about intelligence really, but just some, built-in emotional response hatred for women, taught to us by the patriarchy. But at least like a minimum intelligence or some capacity for logic and comprehension. And as far as I can tell, that's just vanished. Like there is no more capacity for logic and comprehension in our men. In my life and like looking around. So this is a video to sort of teach you on like the basics of our economy and partnerships and the importance of partnerships. Okay. I don't think it really needs to be said, but clearly it does. So here we go. If you are a Martin or on this, related to Martin, there's just nothing I can say you're never going to understand just kind of the basics of the world we're living in because you're just too dumb. You're really, you can see Martin, how stupid he is, right? He's just too dumb. He can't understand anything, really. He's just totally lacking comprehension. And it seems like the people in charge, the men in charge right now, are sort of on the scale with Martin. Like they just completely don't understand the world we're living in or how it has come to be. So this is for people a little bit smarter, a little bit more logic and comprehensive ability than Martin. Just a little bit more, like maybe like a 5-year-old. I'm going to try and explain it to you. Okay, so we live in a world that values innovation, right? We can see clearly the power of innovation and how that provides wealth and new tools and cool shit. And so that's because we've made choices as a society, especially here in America, to protect innovation. For example, you're not seeing innovation coming out of Russia, right? That's because there is no protection for innovators in Russia. It's not that they don't have smart people. It's not about smart people, right? People capable of brilliant ideas and bringing these brilliant ideas to life. I'm sure there are smart people in Russia, but it just doesn't make sense to be an innovator there. Here, at least before, I'm not sure what's going on in that environment right now because I'm not in it right now, but I suspect innovators are being very cautious, and they should be. So in America, and I'm going to use tech startups as a model because I'm most familiar with it, and I also think it's a good model. In tech startups, there's usually two founders, right? There's a founder who creates the product, and there's a founder who does sales. And I've said that before, but it's because it's just so much work, right? It's just so much, right? Creating a product is time-consuming, money-consuming, thought-consuming. To create a valuable product, it's an all-consuming task, right? And so our laws protect innovations because we've seen as a culture the value of innovations, because the reality is, right, once you have built something and put it out into the world, it can be replicated. So you have to, in order for you to spend all that time, money, vision building a product, you have to have protection for your contribution, because once it's out there, it can be taken from you, right? Once you've built it. Now, granted, you probably have ability, in most tech companies, like it's a constant innovation, right? Like you put a beta out there, You find out what's working, what's not working, you tweak it. Society changes, you follow it, you try to keep providing value. So it's not really like you're done, but if you're not being rewarded, if you don't own the property that you created, there's just no point in building it. There's just no point at all. And so that we see that in other countries, and Russia's a good example, of there are no innovations coming out of Russia, and there aren't going to be, because their laws don't protect innovators. Here we do. Here we understand that innovators aren't going to build the products that are so amazing and have transformed our life if they aren't being rewarded for their innovation. So there's a lot of protections for IP and so forth. And then the business partnership aspect is that while the person is completely and utterly devoted to creating the product, someone else is out there selling and pitching the product and coming, it's sort of the interface between the users and the product, and is bringing in money, but also bringing in feedback and how do we tweak this and how do we make it better, and etc. When it works well, it works fabulously. But I mean, at this point, I don't know what's going on in the business environment, but I think you'd have to be a fool to trust the laws, even as just an innovator, even a man as an innovator, because you kind of have to do everything, and it's totally inefficient, right? It's partnerships are there to maximize efficiency, and it takes trust. It takes legal systems that guard those partnerships. So I'm going to transfer that, right? That's a business partnership in a startup. And a marriage, of course, is in the legal world is a business partnership, right? Mom is product, right? Mom is busy. I mean, it takes, again, huge amounts of effort and focus and intelligence to run a home and to raise kids. And the man, the husband in these traditional marriages, is out there bringing in the money, right? But they both probably presumably have the same goal of having happy, healthy children, a happy, healthy home, right? That's probably that should be at least the goal. But in business partnership of marriage now, women have no real protections. Because they're women, because they're wives, because the patriarchy has taught men that our contributions should be free, no matter how important they are. And so what that means is we have no leverage. We have no negotiating power. If they, in my situation is a good example. I was I worked part-time, but I was a stay-at-home mom in most respects, raising my kids. I'm highly qualified to do that. I was a therapist and so forth. And my ex-husband just stole my house, stole my alimony through threats and menace and, denying me the ability to fight for myself. And is getting away with it. It doesn't make any sense. I should never have gotten married to a man. A woman, I think it's different because that the patriarchy sort of doesn't know what to do with two married women. But we have no leverage. So leverage is when you have some ability, to fight, basically. You have something to hold on to fight. So in our laws, right, which protect innovators and product developers, there's a lot of leverage because there are a lot of laws in place to protect IP and to protect the product you're building. And that's because as a society, we see the value of innovation, and no one's going to innovate if they aren't protected. It's a lot of investment. And then, so it's just, what happened to the people who have logical thought? And I'm talking to the men, right? Can you not add up, right? If women aren't being, incredibly protected with our IP, which is the family, their kids, etc., it makes no sense at all to get married and raise a family. It just makes no sense at all. It's incredibly risky and dangerous. You get nothing out of it. So our society has decided that innovations are important. And so when it comes to like two men in a partnership in a startup, they protect, the IP. But our society has decided, I guess, that they don't want kids. They don't want a family. Or, it seems like they are doubling down on just utterly taking away all our leverage as women, all our negotiating power, and then insanely insisting that the problem is ours because we don't want to marry them anymore. Every single person lost their fucking mind? Have you lost your goddamn mind? It makes no sense at all.